hate that thing.
Chat.
All right. All the pilots can now see how the sausage is made in the background. All right, cool. Are we recording now?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for joining us on the pilot chat. Hopefully some more people will join. We got a few agenda items we want to go through. This is a standard disclaimer reminder that this is official union business. So if you're not an IBT member, pilot, if you're a management, you can please excuse yourself as this is official union hall business. With that said, cover a couple of items. We'll just go through the list. The first one is the day room settlement. We published some information on that. So if you're not familiar with that, just real quick, instead of going to arbitration, we have that settlement where if you have a day room or a sit over 4 hours, you can utilize that day room if you need it. But if you don't want to use the day room, there is a cash incentive for not taking the day room. It's $60. If you don't use the day room, you can fill out the form. It's $90 if you want a day room and they don't have one for you. Meaning all the hotels are sold out or such for it. So you can get $90. But that form isn't compliant if you're not familiar with it. And again, you have to have 4 hours in front of you and you have to complete the 4 hours. So quiz, you have a 4-hour sit. Crew scheduling asks you to go early because they want the gate, and you decide sure, and you push at 3:57, 3 minutes prior to the 4 hours. Do you qualify for the 4 hours? Negative. You do not qualify. You did not complete the 4-hour sit. So if you want the money or if you want the day room, you have to complete the 4 hours in its entirety before you will qualify for that. That's just the way the settlement's written. We did just fix, well, let me rephrase that. We did just settle the deadhead. We published a lot of information on that as well. Again, let me remind you, if you are deadheading and a pilot, which hopefully you all are if you're here, if you are deadheading, please do not take the jump seat. If you are asked by a CSA, hey, we have an oversold flight, you're deadheading, can you help us out and take the jump seat? We negotiated very hard to get pilots out of the jump seat. That jump seat is for commuters who are not deadheading. Please do not screw yourself or screw your fellow pilots, both online and offline, that are trying to get to work. You have a seat, sit in the back. For the deadheads, if you feel there's a violation per the settlement agreement, if you feel there's a violation and you should have been upgraded to a first class or premium seat because you're sitting there and there's obviously 3 seats available in first class, or SkyWest or Alaska or some other pilot sitting up there, hang on to that information. You will qualify for $50 until the end of the year for every violation. That form is forthcoming from the company. We told by next week that should be published, and a fogey will be sent out to the pilots describing what it is. Hang on, if it's happened within the last couple of days, just hang on to the information as far as, you know, seat assignment, what flight it was, the date, all the important information. And then when it goes live, you can fill it all out. There is no timeline for those that are waiting. It will be 21 days if there's a violation going forward once the form's been published. So you'll have 21 days, just like a grievance. The catch here is, well, it's not a catch. You don't have to fill out a grievance anymore. That form will take care of the process. So if you've been violated, call 1-800, just kidding. If you've been violated, fill out the form. That will take care of the process. You don't need to fill out a separate grievance. The last item for me before we pass it on to these fine people is TOAP. TOAP is a voluntary furlough. The IBT is against TOAP. Yeah, it's time off without pay. It's in the CBA. It's to help the company with their staffing problems. The goal here is that they used to offer incentive lines. We need you to go away for a while. We're going to pay you like a paid vacation to go away for a while. If pilots are taking TOAP, then they say, hey, we don't have to give incentive lines anymore. So now we don't have to pay anybody. So solidarity. if they need people to take some time off, they don't need to be here. That's great as far as scheduling, but you're gonna pay them. So if you got pilots that are taking toe off, then that completely defeats the purpose of solidarity and getting incentive lines instead of getting time off without pay. It's completely backwards. You're basically furloughing yourself. So please do not do it. Encourage your friends not to do it. And those that are not your friends as well. I forgot to make introductions. Obviously, I'm Henry. This is Michael. That's Bo sitting down there at that end. Ian's over at that end. Joel Eisenfeld and Deb is over here. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Joel to cover a few topics.
Okay, first of all, hotels. I chair the hotel committee for those that don't know. I'll start with hotel reports for those that haven't been on a pilot chat before. This is the primary way that we get problems fixed. The most important part of it is obviously detail and what the problem was, but also number of reports. Please, anytime you have a transportation or hotel issue, fill out a report. For example, if you were at a given hotel and there were 3 different problems, I know it's tedious, but please fill out 3 different reports, 1 for each problem. The reason we do that is when we approach the company and say that a hotel is substandard or is having problems, they immediately go and look at the number of reports per room night, and they will most likely say, no, there's only a few reports. Obviously, this hotel is fine, even though they know and we know that it isn't fine. So please take the time to fill out as many reports as you can on those problem hotels, and we all know which ones those are. In addition, if you have a hotel, Ontario comes to mind, and others that are unclean, unsafe, any of those things that we all know exist, unfortunately, refuse the hotel. This comes from Carlos Sendejas. He told us in a meeting that we have the standards and they are what they are. And if you arrive and find that a hotel is substandard, refuse it. Call crew scheduling and say, this is not acceptable. I don't feel safe here. That is the key word. I do not feel safe here, and force them to get you a different hotel. I fully appreciate that that also is time consuming and it shouldn't be your job. But if everyone starts refusing these substandard hotels like Ontario, the company is going to see that added expense, and it's going to push them to actually fix the problem rather than continuing to ignore it. Lastly, on hotels, we've sent out multiple communications lately regarding the standards and lack of company response to unsafe and unclean hotels. I just want to make sure that everyone is receiving union communications. If anyone on this chat is not receiving those, has not received union communications, please raise your hand in the chat so we can go about reporting that and fixing it for you, because it's probably a incorrect email or some other problem that we can quickly fix. Next item is negotiations. We have not met in the month of July. We also will not be meeting in the month of August. It's just the 2 months that were negotiated to be non-negotiating months. Our last meeting was in June. We were continuing progress on several sections. Right at the end of the session, the company handed us a pass on vacations. And that's kind of where we ended up. So we'll be reconvening in September and hopefully getting the process moving along again. I think that's all I have. And if anyone has any questions, I guess we can talk about it now or at the end, but please do raise your hand if you're not getting those union communications. And on to Bo.
Howdy y'all. Talking about fatigue stuff. We've hammered it down pretty good with the 3-day timeline. Been talking about it in CQ and in our comms to you, and everyone's been doing pretty good with it. However, last month, I can tell you this thing, I guess. Last month we had 38 total fatigue reports. 6 of those pilots did not fill out fatigue reports at all. Everyone else filled them out within the 3-day timeline, so good job for y'all getting those in on time. But for those 6, highly recommend you do it. If you don't fill out a report, you don't have any chance of getting pay guaranteed for it. Company takes your money, you go without pay or use sick time for it, etc. So please be aware of that. And then again, most everyone's been doing pretty good with this, but there are a handful this past month that did not get pay guaranteed. A lot of those did not come across our desk. When you send them to us, the email is fatiguehorizon@apa1224.org. When you send them, we can look them over and advise you of things to and to not put in there. We have most of them, they're pretty self-incriminating. is why people don't get pay guaranteed. Putting in extra details that just don't matter for the actual fatigue events. And the company gets distracted very, very easily. And it's hard for us to fight that. So I think that's all I got.
Thanks, Bo. Mike Cole.
All right, so we're gonna go over bid stats. We don't have them for August. We have them for September and October, though. Talked to Bill Bowling this morning, the gentleman who compiles all this for us. It's all the same. We're doing less block with more legs. And less block per leg. What does that mean? We're flying the short stuff. SkyWest is getting the long stuff, as is tradition. So just doubling back on that, these days can be long. These multiple four leg days followed by min rest overnights, or as some of you guys affectionately call it, the Q400 flying. If you have those days and you are fatigued, do not push it. Call out fatigued. As Joel mentioned with hotels, it's just what it is. It happens. The only way to get the company to make a change is the cost of money, unfortunately. And if you guys were on the company pilot chat when they announced the quarterly results, they have money. It'll be fine. They will survive. You will still have jobs. That is August, September, and October. It's all the same. We are flying short stuff. SkyWest is still doing the long stuff. Now on to jump seat. We are still seeing our CSAs lying to pilots, trying to get on jump seats, telling them that JAX doesn't exist. That's a new one we heard recently. That they just don't have time, or they make up some excuse about they don't have access to lists. It's all because the company's trying to do more with less. They are running one CSA to board and close out a flight sometimes, and that's not enough. Bo has done that job before. I've done that job before. That is not enough people to do that, and they're hyper fixated on the D0 timeline. So please be responsible pilots, and make the walk as we ask. Make sure nobody's left behind at the gate. It just happened to me and Joel last night on our trip. They tried to leave a Hawaiian pilot at the gate on the way down to Ontario, and I walked up and waited until they put him on, and then they finally put him on the plane. So it works. If you take a few minute delay, you're not going to get in trouble for that, and we'll back you on it always. So make sure people can get home. Don't let the CSAs push you into leaving early and leaving people at the gate, or leaving people at the gate in general.
Thanks, Mike. I don't see John Dodd. I think he's in a separate meeting. Phoenix, I believe. I don't see John on here, so we will not have John. I do want to add one more thing before we open it up to any questions. To be a quick pilot check. We are still offering, IBT Exco is offering $25 gift card for every 5 grievances that are filed between now and the end of the year. So if the company violates you, and if they don't want to give you the remedy that you are so seeking, the IBT and the Exco felt it was at least nice enough to at least give you a gift card for your troubles filing a grievance in the process of doing it. So again, no limits. If you are violated and the grievance has merit, file the grievance and we'll give you a $25 gift card just for fun. So yeah, Michael,
One more thing. This is regards to Seattle, or pretty much any of the other stations. I'm sure anybody on this chat who has gone through SeaTac recently has either waited for a gate for a substantial amount of time as it was open, and you're sitting on the whiskey lane staring at your beautiful J line with nobody to marshal you in. If you have to wait longer than 10 minutes, please file a PIR. The company is attempting to do something, not really sure what it is, but basically they're making less rampers will do the same amount of work. Where they're critically short-staffed and they're not really doing anything to fix it. So if you have to wait longer than 10 minutes, or in, again, me and Joel's case, a ramper asks you to help them unload the bag well, or anything weird like that, please file a PIR. They go directly to stations. Company and the union are both involved with this because it's becoming a huge problem.
I'll add to that too. I hope it doesn't need to be said, but please be kind to the rampers. It is not their fault. They're doing the best they can. They're not being paid enough. They're not staffed properly. So when they're not showing up, please don't take it out on them. In fact, help them out, bring them cold drinks from the galley, anything you could do, because they're working around the clock to try to make it work, and it's a hot mess, and it's the company's fault, not the rampers.
They're doing the best they can with what they got.
All right, guys and gals, that's all that we had for the agenda items per se. So if there's any questions, we're certainly happy to take care of those right now. So you can unmute yourself or throw it in the chat, whatever you'd like to do, but we'll save some time for some questions before we cut you loose.
One thing I'll add, Michael brought up, or was it though, the route structure and the reduced block we're gonna be seeing. I encourage all of you, if you join the company's pilot chat, to ask the tough questions. You're gonna hear a lot of things from the company about our position for growth. We're going to grow, we are growing, whatever buzzword you can think of to throw in there. You're gonna hear that, and I guess ask yourself, what does that really mean, since we used to be a fleet of over 60 and now we're a fleet of just over 40, with no plan to even get to really 50. So I don't know how the company is defining growth, but that doesn't appear to be growth to me. So when they start saying things like that, please take the time to raise your hand and ask them, well, what do you mean? We used to be over 1,000 pilots and over 60 airplanes, and we're nowhere near that now, and there's no plan to get to that again, at least for now. Additionally, ask them, why is SkyWest getting the choice flying down in Mexico while we're flying state of Alaska, short, inefficient routes in the middle of winter? There's no reason that needs to be, but it is, and that's worth asking about.
And you guys did a good job of that at the last pilot chat. Keep it going. Hold their feet to the fire. They tell us all these things, and it doesn't appear that they're coming true. As our block data shows, SkyWest is statistically getting the longer flying. So we believe we should do that because we're the ones that are part of Air Group and not some contractor from Utah. So yeah, ask them the hard questions.
All right, guys, any questions from you?
I got a question. Joel, where did you get that delightful shirt?
I don't even remember. Nothing.
Nothing.
Going once, going twice.
Oh, wait, hold on.
There we go. Mr. Charles.
So Kevin asked about negotiations. When we reconvene in September, obviously, since the company passed us vacation section, that will be on the docket. We are also working on several other sections. We find that we aren't into financials yet, and a big struggle just in general with multiple sections has been sharing of information. The company is very against open, transparent processes where we get information and get to see information. And that's one of the primary things we're fighting for in these sections that are non-financial, is making sure that it is a two-way street, particularly when discipline is involved, grievances are involved. We have access to the information they have. Otherwise, it's not a level playing field. So that's, I guess, hopefully that somewhat answers your question.
I will add too, just to put this out here. I know it's August and we have all the way till December, but there is no one at this table, and I can bet you all the money in my pockets against all the money in your pockets that nobody at the company table thinks that we're going to be having a new contract by December 31st of this year. It's not going to happen. So as of January 1, we're all going to be working under an expired CBA. So we've got plans in place. We hope to roll those out. But like Joel said, it's a very slow process.
Yes.
So,
And in fairness, we would like it to move faster, but we are not interested in moving faster and sacrificing quality. So I've said it on these chats before and I'll say it again. Is our intention to do it right or not do it at all? We're not going to rush and have a substandard product. And in some cases, an example is we took 6 months to write 4 pages to get it agreed to with the company. That is unfortunate and is not the speed I would like to move. But if that's what it takes to get the right information into the contract, the right language, then so be it. That's what we're going to do. On the solidarity note and with the expiration of our current CBA, please wear your union lanyards. If you see people out there not wearing them, ask them to wear them. There's nothing more ridiculous than wearing an Alaska lanyard. You do not work for Alaska Airlines. So if you're going to wear not a union lanyard, at least please don't wear an Alaska lanyard. But preferably wear a union lanyard.
And for those of you that don't like the yellow ones, we have blue ones.
Yes.
We do.
If you think it's just too ugly for your uniform, we have a blue one. We have blue ones we can send to you.
And if you need any IBT material like a lanyard, look for the email update that will come out with this recording. I'll make sure that at the bottom of that, there's the form that you can fill out. It comes to us and we fulfilled those like Amazon promptly to your door. So,
And if you see us out on the line, we typically carry a lot of those things, lanyards, bag tags, etc. Come and just approach us. You can ask us questions. We can get you all that stuff that we have. We try to be approachable, so don't hesitate to come and find us if you see us in the crew room, on the line, wherever we are.
And Unity works. Like, it may sound ridiculous to you, but if you think back to the contract improvements LOA of 2022, the first pass they sent us to vote on, 90-something% of us voted on it, and like 80% of them said no. That's Unity, and that's why we got an 86% raise. Like, Unity matters, and the company sees it.
any other questions, guys? We've got all day. Well, it's all All right, if there's nothing else, we'll cut it loose. You can always contact us at Exco Horizon at APA 1220. Wait, what given? You guys allowed to put union lanyards in the crew room? That's a good question.
I mean, I think there's nothing that says we can't. Will they remain there for you to take? I'm not sure.
We can leave them specifically if you wanna pick one up in the crew room. We can leave it in the folders in the crew room. We can put it in an envelope. So if you're asking specifically because you want a union lanyard, we can get it to your crew room and drop it off and like, but it's easier for us to just mail it to you.
Yeah, if you
do that.
send us your information, we can mail it literally today before we leave the office.
Yeah, because you're showing up as Samsung SM-X210. If you put your name in the chat, I can mail it to you today. Oh,
Yeah,
Sven.
we can do
Okay.
that for
Yeah,
you.
we can I can just mail it to your house, Sven.
Yeah.
Does that work for you?
Or I can take it and put it in the mailbox.
All right, any other questions?
We'll get you one.
Okay,
Wait, you got one. Hey.
we will, since we're growing, are we still anticipating fewer flying hours going into the fall and winter? Yes. That's part of our growth, you know?
I mean, is the
Less airplanes,
question,
less pilots, and less fun.
is your question growth as compared to last year at the same time? Is that what you're asking? Maybe. If that is your question, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone, but I think the answer is yes. The block hours are somewhat better than last year at the same time, but a huge decrease from our summer peak, which, although not unusual, is really going to wreak havoc on your pairings and quality of your lines.
Oh.
Well played.
I'll add on that form too, because it doesn't have an option for blue, so I guess I'll add that onto the form so you guys can. All right, if there's no other last questions, we appreciate you guys joining us anytime. We'll see you out on the lot.
I have a comment.
Oh, hey.
Can
Go
you guys
ahead.
hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, it's Lisa Derrick here. I don't know if you, I'm
Hey.
just calling in. So I don't have a question, but I do have a ask, which is that it's flashcard time of year again. And we're going through the SV bank for accuracy and updating the resources on there. And also time to do the CQ 2025 flashcards. So if there's anybody out there who wants to help with this process, great way to study. Please just for either upgrade or for CQ for next year. If you could just email me at the training committee email address, which is traininghorizon@apa1224.org.
Got it. Thanks, Lisa. Appreciate all you do as well.
Thanks. That's all I got.
All right, thanks, Lisa. Anyone else? Last call? All right, we'll go ahead and officially wrap it up. You guys know how to contact us, and please do if you ever have any questions. So you guys take care, fly safe. We'll talk soon. Thanks, everyone.